guys, I'm Jade and welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry there hasn't really been much content posted this month. It's just December is always a crazy month for me. First off, I was working so much the first 2 weeks trying to make money before I went on vacation. And then 2, it's my birthday. I turned 21. Yes, finally legal drinking age in America. I turned 21 on December 17th, and so that whole week was all about birthday craziness and stuff. And then a couple days after my birthday, we flew out to New Orleans to visit with my grandpa and family for Christmas and New Year's and stuff. So that's where I am right now, and why you see a different setup. So since I am obviously away from my bookshelf right now, I can't really do things involving books, and since I know a lot of you guys are on your winter breaks right now and holiday breaks, I thought this would be a fun video to do, telling you my top 12 binge-worthy shows on Netflix, because honestly, my reading this year has been pretty horrible. I think I've maybe read 50 books this year, and last year I read like 75. I've been watching a lot of Netflix, and especially the TV shows on Netflix. I'm the type of person where when I like start a show that I really love and get into it, I can't stop. I'll watch 10 episodes at once or something. Some of these shows that have like 70 episodes, I watched in 5 days. Yeah, I have a problem. So I thought I could give you guys my recommendations on my top 12 shows that are binge-worthy on Netflix, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. I see posts all the time on Facebook and Twitter for people being like, what should I watch on Netflix? I just finished this show, you know, give me more recommendations. So if you don't know what to watch on Netflix right now, you just finished a show and you're like, what should I watch next? I would definitely recommend watching one of these shows. I do have 12 because I couldn't fit it all into 10, and these shows are all amazing. They are all 5 stars in my opinion. Most of these shows are all kind of different, and it's kind of hard to rate them exactly, just because it's hard to rate like a sci-fi show versus a comedy. It's kind of hard, so I did try to put this in the best order I could. It is ordered just by what I loved the most. So these shows are all amazing. You couldn't go wrong with any of these shows, but it's just going down to what show I loved the most and enjoyed watching the most, and went back and watched episodes again and again after I'd already finished watching them, just because I could not let go of them. And just a thing, because I know someone's gonna say this, Breaking Bad isn't on this list because that is a given. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad and you have a Netflix account, what are you doing? Alright, so let's get on with my favorite binge-worthy shows on Netflix. Coming in at number 12, we have Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. This is a Netflix original show, and it is a comedy series, and it's honestly the best comedy I've seen the whole year. Beats any comedy I've seen on TV. If you are a comedy person, I would definitely recommend it. Honestly, I don't actually really watch that many comedies on TV, and so that's why it was kind of weird that I love this show so much, and it's so funny. It's only had 1 season so far, so it's about this girl named Kimmy Schmidt who was abducted when she was a teenager by this reverend with a couple other girls and put in the bunker and told the end of the world was coming and he was saving them from the apocalypse. And so they lived in this bunker for like 10 years and believed the world had ended, and they were like the sole survivors, and that they couldn't go outside this bunker because the world was in flames and everything. And then one day someone comes and rescues them, and so it's her having to adjust to being an adult now. It's so funny. I highly recommend it if you're into comedies. At number 11 is Revenge. It's so addicting. Some people I know are like don't like it, but I thought it was really good. Revenge is about a girl named Amanda who, when she was younger, her dad was arrested and put in prison for supposedly embezzling money from the company he worked for this terrorist group that ended up crashing a plane and killing hundreds of people. And so he was put away for this as like an act of terrorism, and he ended up dying in this prison. And she had a horrible life because of that. She was put in foster care because her mom had died too, and just had a horrible life because of it. And her whole life she'd been told her father did this, and he was a horrible man, that he was helping this terrorist group. And then when she turned 18, she got this box of her father's diaries and stuff, and found out that he didn't do this, and that the head of the company put it on him, and all these people conspired against him. It goes back to the Hamptons under an assumed name of Emily Thorne, and is there to take revenge on all the people that wronged her father. It's definitely similar to a soap opera, but it's less dramatic and feels a lot more grounded. Also, it has one of the best friendships I've ever seen on TV. It's a really fun show. It's crazy seeing like how she goes through like all of her revenge plots on all these different people. I love the show, and it was super addicting. At number 10 is Glee. I actually never really watched this when it was on TV. I only started watching this right before the last season came on. I finished it right before the last season started, and it's funny because when I was in high school, or actually middle school, high school, I was a drama theater kid. So almost all of my friends were like obsessed with Glee because that was the time of Glee when I first started high school, was I think when it came on. I don't know, I honestly never watched it because I'd always heard great things about it, but I was like, you know, it's like one of those things, I'll get to it. And I only actually started watching it because, if you're unaware, I do background work, which is all those extra people you see on the background of TVs and movie set. They're just like walking by and stuff. That's what I do for money, and so I worked as a regular on the last 2 seasons of Glee, especially the last season. So if you are a Gleek, if you watch the last 2 seasons, especially the last season, you will be able to see me a good bit on it. So just keep your eye out. You'll definitely see me. But anyway, so after I started working on it, I was like intrigued, and then my friend who was working with me was a big Glee fan, and she was like, I was so confused. I was like, so wait, this person is dating this person? They're like, no, now they did. And I'm like, what? I was just really confused, and I wanted to know what was going on. So I started watching the show, and I love it. It's just a fun high school show, and I don't know, maybe I liked it even more because I worked on it, so I was like, had the experience of being there. It's a really fun show with all the musical numbers. It's also really fun when you like hear songs, you're like, oh, I know, or actually hearing songs you didn't know, and then being like, wow, that's an awesome song, let me look that up. So yeah, Glee. At number 9 is Reign, which is a show currently airing on CW. It is one of my favorite shows right now, and guys, it is so good, and this show does not get enough freaking credit. I've heard that it is a mix between Gossip Girl and Game of Thrones, so if you like either of those shows, I would recommend watching it. It's political, historical, but it has a great romance in it too, and I'm a sucker for romance, so I love Reign. In case you don't know, Reign is about Queen Mary of Scots, who was the Queen of Scotland back in the 1400s. And so the show starts when she's 15 after living at this convent for like 6 years, and she's being sent back to French court, and she's expecting to basically immediately wed Prince Francis so that her country can be aligned with France and Scotland can get the much needed support it needs from France to help fend off the English. But things don't really go according to plan and what she thinks, and so it's all about like court politics and like the budding romance and conflict between her and Prince Francis. Watch Reign. Remember how I was just saying that people compare Reign to being like a mix of Gossip Girl and Game of Thrones? Well, guess what's at number 8? It's not Game of Thrones, it's Gossip Girl. Yes, I know this is like a guilty pleasure for a lot of people, or you're probably being like, why is this on your list? I heard it's not that great of a show. I binge watched this over the summer, and I watched it, I'd say, in a couple of weeks, and there was over 100 episodes, so I was pretty in love with this show. Gossip Girl is just one of those like fun teen dramas to watch, you know, you don't have to think about it, you just go in and it's fun, and sometimes you just want to watch a fun show like that. Gossip Girl is definitely one of those shows. I love the cast. Blake Lively is on it, and Ed Westwick, Bay. Watch it just for Chuck Bass, because you'll fall in love with Chuck Bass. Everyone falls in love with Chuck Bass. Coming in at number 7 is Nikita. Nikita was on the CW. It is a completed show. There are 4 seasons. I went through these really quick. I had actually watched the first episode at Comic-Con when I was there like 5 years ago, and then on one day I was like, oh hey, yeah, Nikita. I never really like watched that. I liked it though, and so I started watching it, and I'm like, well, why did I stop watching it? Because it's such a good show. It has amazing action in it, a great cast, awesome plot lines, and it's so good. So Nikita is about this girl named Nakia who was trained by this secret group of the government to be a lethal assassin for the government. She was plucked out of prison, she was on death row, and they faked her death, and now she is a trained assassin, so she legally doesn't exist. And after being in the program for years and doing stuff she didn't want to do, she escapes the program, which no one has ever done, and goes rogue. And now she is on the outside trying to dismantle it. It's just a really fun, great action show with really good drama and action scenes. They kick butt on this show. I just blew through Nikita really quickly. If you like action shows, I don't really know what you can compare this to, but if it sounds up your alley, give it a shot. At number 6 is Dexter. Dexter is also a show that is completed. It was on Showtime. I knew a lot of people for years who were like, oh, I love Dexter, it's one of my favorite shows, but I'm like, I don't have Showtime, can't watch it, and it wasn't on Netflix. And of course, like right when the show's ending, they put up like all the seasons, and I'm like, really? I was so happy they finally put up because Dexter is an amazing show. So Dexter is about this guy named Dexter Morgan, and he works at the Miami Homicide Department, and he is a blood spatter expert. How the blood is spattered helps him figure out what happened. At the same time, Dexter is actually a serial killer. And not just any serial killer, he is a serial killer who kills serial killers. Each season is focused on one serial killer that Dexter is trying to hunt down. Definitely the best seasons of the show were the first couple. Season 4 is definitely my favorite, the Trinity Killer. It's most people's favorite too. If you like CSI crime kind of shows, you definitely have to watch it because it's so much better. It's so much better than those shows. So much better. At number 5 is American Horror Story. So this actually used to be my favorite show up until last year when that horror disaster of a season called Freak Show came out. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but compared to all the other seasons, it was bad. The first 3 seasons are so good. You don't even have to watch all 3, and they're all different because if you don't know, American Horror Story is actually an anthology series, which means that each season is completely different. American Horror Story is definitely a horror show. I think most of it is not that bad when it comes to gore-wise. Definitely if you don't like horror, you will not like American Horror Story. But if you are into horror and like psychological thriller things, it is so good. Like I said, especially the first 3 seasons. Such a good cast and good writing and good story, and it's honestly, it was like nothing I'd ever seen on TV before, and that's why I loved it. At number 4 is Sherlock. So Sherlock has 3 seasons out right now, but obviously there have been very many incantations of Sherlock, both in movies and TV shows, but this is honestly my favorite one that I have seen. Most Sherlock takes place in 18th century England, and this takes place in modern day England. I highly doubt any of you guys don't know what Sherlock is about, but in case you don't know, it's about this guy named Sherlock Holmes who solves mysteries with the help of his partner Watson. It's a wonderful show, and it's also very different than most shows. It will take you literally no time at all to get through the 3 seasons because there are only 3 episodes in each season. But each episode is like an hour and a half, so it's more like mini movies. So you'll go through them super quick. It's just like watching 9 movies. So you can be like, I binge watched Sherlock, and really it took you no time at all to go through 3 seasons. At number 3 is hands down one of my favorite shows now. This was a show I talked about that has 69 episodes that I finished in 4 days. Scandal is about this woman named Olivia Pope, played by Kerry Washington, and she runs this crisis management firm in Washington, D.C. And the other big thing on the show is the relationship between Olivia Pope and President Fitzgerald. There's so much good stuff on the show. The acting is great, the storylines are great, it's cool kind of seeing a little bit of politics, but not too like heavy-handed. Scandal is so good. If you like House of Cards, I would definitely give Scandal a shot. Also, if you like How to Get Away with Murder, because I actually watched How to Get Away with Murder before I watched Scandal. And then people are like, oh, if you like How to Get Away with Murder, watch Scandal. I like Scandal just a little bit more than How to Get Away with Murder though, just because of the romance. How to Get Away with Murder, as much as I love, it's a little light on the romance, and Scandal, it gives me all that romance that I need and more. If you like How to Get Away with Murder, definitely check out Scandal because I think you really will like it. Alright, so we are down to the top 2 spots. These shows are both so good. They're so different though that it was hard to rank them, but one went just a little bit above just because I kept rewatching it and like rewatching episodes, and so it's just a little bit above because of that. But at number 2 is Sense8, which is another Netflix original series. It also has only had 1 season so far. They are currently filming the 2nd season. It is amazing. I can't even talk about it. It's so good. I say this honestly. If I said this somewhere else in this video, I didn't mean it as much as I mean it here. When I say this is the most original show on TV I have ever seen, such a cool plot and interesting. Sense8 is a sci-fi show, so if you like any kind of sci-fi, watch it. You will love it. If you love The Matrix, it is the same people who did The Matrix. Any kind of sci-fi movie, TV show, You will love this show. It's so good. I would just recommend watching the trailer. It's a super original show and it's just amazing. Go watch the trailer or actually just watch the first episode. You'll be confused at first. You're supposed to be confused, but as the season goes along, you'll get more answers. But still, the first episode will hook you so well, and by the end of it, you'll just be like, I need more. No one I have talked to that has watched this show hasn't freaking loved it because it's so amazing. And more people need to watch this. I know a lot of people have, but more people need to watch this. Go watch it. And finally, at number 1, this is probably gonna shock people because you're gonna be like, what? That's your number 1? But again, these shows are all amazing, fantastic shows that I give 5 stars to, that I love so much. It's just based on what I enjoyed watching the most. So, my number 1 binge-worthy show you should be watching on Netflix is Gilmore Girls. Yes, Gilmore Girls. So the crazy thing is, I don't know how I never watched this growing up, because the weird thing is, you know, I was raised by a single mom. It was just me and my mom. And this is a show about a single mom and her daughter. You would have thought I would have watched it. I never did. I don't know. And one day I was like, oh yeah, Gilmore Girls. You've been talking about that. I'll watch it. It's so good. It's so good. It's definitely a family show. It's about the family dynamics between the mom and the daughter, and with the grandparents. And the great thing about it is, like, the mom and the daughter, it's the relationship every girl wishes they could have with their mom. They are best friends before they are mother and daughter. The dialogue on this show is amazing. It's so fast, it's so witty. It's a really funny show, but also stays grounded and real at the same time. Like, nothing feels over the top. These people all feel so real and you feel like you could be them. I love this show so much. I only finished this show a month and a half ago, and I still rewatch the episodes. It's that good, guys. It's that good. If you've never seen it, you have to watch it. It's just such a great show. I can't recommend it enough. You will fall in love with it. I hope you do, at least, because then we can, like, fangirl together. Those are my top favorite binge-worthy shows on Netflix that I think everyone should be watching. So if you just finished a show and you're like, oh god, don't know what to watch next, take one of these recommendations, because there's honestly something for everyone. There's sci-fi, there's comedy, there's drama, there's everything in this list. I promise you, there is something for you on this list. Even if you're a picky TV watcher, there is something for you on this list. So go through, honestly watch all of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I will see you guys next time. I hope you had an amazing Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. Thank you for being subscribed. If I don't see you before the new year is out, I hope you guys all have an amazing new year, and I will see you in 2016. Bye!